Hey guys, so as promised this week I would like to start Case for a Creator, which is the scientific approach to proving that creation does exist, that there is a God, that we can't actually live or exist on this planet without a creator. To sort of preface that and get it started, I would like to go through the account of creation in Genesis 1. And make sure that we're all fresh on that. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was empty and a formless mass, cloaked in darkness, and the Spirit of God was hovering over its surface. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and God saw that it was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. Together, these made up one day. And God said, "Let there be space between the waters to separate water from water." And so it was. God made this space to separate the waters above from the waters below. And the God called the space sky. This happened on the second day. And God said, "Let the waters beneath the sky be gathered into one place so dry ground may appear." And so it was. God named the dry ground land, and the water seas. And God saw it was good. Then God said, "Let the land burst forth with every sort of grass and seed-bearing plant, and let there be trees that grow, seed-bearing fruit. The seeds will then produce the kinds of plants and trees from which they come." And so it was. The land was filled with seed-bearing plants and trees, and the seeds produced plants and trees of like kind. And God saw that it was good. This all happened on the third day. And God said, "Let the bright lights appear in the sky to separate the day from the night. They will be signs to mark off the seasons of the days and the years. Let their light shine down upon the earth." And so it was, for God made two great lights, the sun and the moon, to shine down upon earth. The greater when the sun presides during the day, the lesser when the moon presides through the night. He also made the stars. God set these lights in the heavens to light the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. This all happened on the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with fish and other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind." So God created the sea creatures and every sort of fish and every kind of bird. And God saw it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, "Let the fish multiply and fill the oceans. Let the birds increase and fill the earth." This all happened on the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth every kind of animal, livestock, small animals, and wildlife." And so it was. God made all sorts of wild animals, livestock, and small animals, each able to reproduce more of its own kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make people in our image to be like ourselves. They will be the masters over all life, the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the livestock, wild animals, and small animals." So God created people in his own image. God patterned them after himself. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and told them, "Multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. Be masters over the fish, birds, and all the animals." And God said, "Look, I have given you the seed-bearing plants throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given you all the grasses and the other green plants to the animals and the birds for their food." And so it was. Then God looked over all he had made and saw that it was excellent in every way. All this happened on the sixth day. So, and as we know, on the seventh day, God rested. So the introduction, I'll read the introductory portion of Case for a Creator. And that'll wrap up this initial introduction video to this series, and then we'll get started reading a chapter at a time after that. So, introduction. Who can you believe? There you are, sitting in science class at school. You're thinking, Say, what are you thinking? What are your feelings about science in general? Not as cool as a science fiction movie? More fun than having a cavity drilled? Your true answer is in there somewhere. Either way, it's science class. And an interesting one today, because Mr. Axiom, the science teacher, is starting a new unit on how the world began. You hear something about a big bang and how all that stuff made up the entire universe was gummed up into one puny little wad before it blew up, and how that stuff is still exploding outward as it has since the beginning. Fast forward a couple of days. Now you're in Sunday school. Mrs. Homily, the teacher, is starting a new unit on the first book of the Bible called Genesis. She starts with the very first words of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The kids are kind of nodding along, but you have a big question about all this. Why aren't Mrs. Homily and Mr. Axiom on the same page? They seem to have two completely different stories for the same subject. Mr. Axiom says the universe came from a big explosion. Mrs. Homily claims it came from God. Who is right and who is wrong? What really bothers you the most is that Mr. Axiom, the science guy, seems to make the best case for his claims. A homogeneous long ago explosion seems like a pretty wild story, but he makes it believable. He gives numbers and details and tells why scientists tells why the scientists came up with their ideas. You've always liked Mrs. Homily. What's weird is that she's only telling you what your parents might have told you all your life. God made everything. You've always liked church and gone along with the program, but you're not a little kid anymore. You're beginning to think things through for yourself, and you're noticing that neither Mrs. Homily nor anyone at church is too concerned about, well, the reasons and the evidence for what they're teaching you. Not as much as in science class. So, here, they show you a picture of a broken window and a dog holding a baseball bat. So, it says, evidence, proof that something happened. For example, you see a baseball lying in a pile of broken glass next to a window. That's your evidence that the baseball broke the window. Better hope that baseball isn't yours. Alright, so as we continue in our next lesson, we'll start chapter 1 of Case for Creator, and that chapter is called Piecing Together the Puzzle. So we'll really talk about this evidence that proves scientifically that there has to be a creator. And like we talked about in our devotion last week, the odds are against anything that we can look out into nature and see existing without a creator. What was that odd? 1 in deutecillion, or a 1 with 40 zeros behind it? Those are some pretty big odds against life existing on this planet without a creator. So we're going to talk more about that and talk about the evidence that a creator has to exist. We'll see you soon, guys. Thanks.